Has a day really passed if something crazy doesn't happen, especially as we live in this crypto space? But that's why I might catch you. Because even if you go a little bit outside of the crypto space, some unhinged things are happening every single day. One of the things I got for you guys today that I think is the headline of the day is the $10 billion bank shutdown by US regulators in the first bank failure of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we got that and much more to cover. So make sure you press that like button and let's dive right in. So to get you guys up to speed, US regulators have seized Republic First Bank and agreed to sell it to Fulton Bank, underscoring the challenges facing regular regional banks a year after the collapse of three peers. And looking through the article, the damage really isn't that big a deal. It says right here, the FDIC, the insurance basically, estimates the cost of the failure to its fund will be roughly like 700 million, as they're just being bought over, and the numbers really aren't too phenomenal. But I think the most pressing part of the matter was this, that Bitcoin, or cryptocurrencies, emerge as a safe haven amidst the Republic First Bank crisis. Like 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗃 Crypto, our capital here, said, Republic First Bank failure is worth a look, since bank failures are the best possible narrative we can get for crypto. With the idea obviously being, if you keep your money in a bank, well, it can kind of always go kaput, like we're seeing right here. But keep your money in crypto, you're your own bank, and it's safe. The reason it's not fully true is because at the end of the day, if you keep all your money in crypto, it's way more volatile. It really ain't the same, but it's comparable in the way that if you kept your money with this bank, it wasn't that safe either. Then again, there were insurances in place. These guys that were all banking here really didn't notice too much of the bump. I think even the trading name stays the same. Fulton Bank likes to broaden their exposure, I think, in Philadelphia. So at the end of the day, it ain't that big a deal. It's the idea that counts for the most part, I'd say. And I think it lets people realize yet again that the banking industry they always believed was so safe really isn't that protected from crashes and from failures. It's protected in the sense that they've got insurances and they've got so many other companies trying to buy them up, but that only works to a certain extent. Anyway, at the same time, we're seeing that the banks and lenders are significantly trying to increase their exposure to our crypto space. Franklin Templeton's Ethereum spot ETF listed on DTCC. All you gotta know here, we don't know if Ethereum ETFs will be approved soon or not. What we do know though is that the institutions really want in, and just Bitcoin wasn't enough. I mean, we've seen BlackRock and guys like that say the RWA space on crypto, the tokenization of assets, is going to be huge. And I would say that Ethereum right now is the main proponent for it. It will probably change over as more institutions build their own chains and they go for cheaper alternatives. But as of the current outlook, Ethereum is a really, or has got a really beautiful value proposition because it can allow for so many of these real world assets to be built and placed upon while also not being fully regulated and fully believed in by other institutions, so that it's relatively quite undervalued, I'd say. And talking about this undervalued, we'll talk about this in another video soon because I've got some interesting thoughts to share on this. But if we take a look at undervalued coins, Ethereum really isn't actually one of them. Like, to be honest with you, if we're looking at the percentage that these coins are away from their all-time high, it's rather interesting. Here's the from all-time high section, that Ethereum is quite close. It's about 35% off right now at what price? It's at roughly 3,100. So roughly $5,000, 4,800 is its maximum. Whereas if you look at some of the other altcoins like XRP, it's still down 90%. Or Cardano, it's still down, what, 85%, and so forward and so on. Bitcoin Cash down 90%, Litecoin down 80%. Ethereum is actually doing quite well. You know, some of these are really quote unquote zombie coins, if you want to call them that. And it shows me just how early in the altcoin season we are. But another thing also, I know many people don't like it when I say this, but every run, you got to just look for the next big trend. Don't stick to whatever worked last time and only stick to it. Adapt. If you're noticing my coins are not moving at all, it's not that bad to not buy more of them and just go for whatever is working at the time. And I have to readdress this. People get stuck holding what they thought would do well, but sometimes the market doesn't agree. And I think many people can miss out on crazy gains by just waiting for that one bag, that one coin to pop off, but it never will. And trust me, I know that can be a hard pill to swallow, but it's something a lot of people are gonna have to acknowledge. They could still do amazing. So I'm not always saying sell everything for the next big thing. I'm saying it sometimes pays off to not just keep buying more and more and more and more if it's never moving. You guys know what I'm talking about. And crypto just moves so fast, you know? It's not worth sticking to those old moves, those old beliefs, etc., etc. It's hard, I know, many people fail to do it, but that's also what might define the crazy gains from the, you've made some gains. Because again, I think all your old coins will still do well over a bull market, but if we're comparing, you know, like, oh, going back to all-time high as being the main event versus just blasting through its all-time high, doing a 7x or so from it, and in total being a 50xer in comparison to just like a 6 or 7 or 8x, I think the decision is made quite easily, but for some reason it's just scary to people, and I know, but it's a big mistake. Having said that, even just holding crypto is never really easy. Just what? The US Senator Elizabeth Warren wrote a letter to the Department of Justice claiming cryptocurrency is the payment of choice for child materials. Let's just say it like that. You can read for yourself what exactly she wrote, but BudFan had an interesting comment saying, and you can track it all, so arrest them all. The funniest thing is, this is such a stupid statement, but even if we just look at it at face value, that's a positive thing. If they really choose to have one of the most traceable payments of choice, isn't that a positive thing? Isn't that good for your department? It's something you should kind of keep your mouth shut over. If they really decide to choose one of the ways that's so easy to follow, why not just shut up and be in the background and arrest every single one of them? Just sweep them all up. Because if it's that or cash, I'd say this one is significantly easier to find the people at. There's always trails. With cash, sometimes it's just nearly impossible to find. But then again, the whole statement is stupid, so, you know. Side note, yesterday there was a little bit of panic about one of the big ETFs not having some inflows anymore. I think it might have been BlackRock's one, where they have a day of non-inflows. And the way I see it is, it's with every ETF, it's always the same. But I want to quickly expose this as well. The world's largest custodian bank, BNY Mellon, reports exposure to Bitcoin ETFs. It's all just a matter of time. Again, there might be ups and downs, but ultimately, a lot of the institutions are hopping on it, even though it takes time. And what's kind of funny is, it's over, right? This is the statement. IBIT took $0 yesterday, and as such, its daily inflow streak has ended at 71 days. Shy of an all-time record, but one for the ages, and utterly smashing the record for a new launch. For context, gold had awesome launch, and its out-of-the-gate inflow streak was 3 days. It's literally a top 10 ever already, which is kind of funny for being just launched. And it's also kind of funny how Grayscale BTC is just on straight up outflows every single day since the start. And our ETF analyst says no single ETF has ever done anything close to that. It's the #1 all time. It's kind of funny. And people need to realize it's not Grayscale doing this themselves, right? It's the clients that Grayscale holds money for, which is something people might not realize. And again, the idea here being that people are switching over from Grayscale to other funds that have lower fees. So it's just people moving over because I think the majority of them who wanted to sell for the premium have probably already done that. But on an opposite side, it still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to just keep the outflows going, unless those guys are basically dollar cost averaging out, not to do every single day, the whole bit. But I guess to know exactly what the details of that are, you'd have to look inside the numbers and see which institution is selling what at what time. Otherwise, the data is not that representative of anything if you don't know if it's just one institution or many with little bits, or if it's just a new institution every single day deciding to do so. It's hard. And as a little side note, one thing I'll also add is that the way it's currently looking, this is going to be the first Bitcoin down month, so red month, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So after 7 months of pure green is going to be the first red month. Wow. It's also quite fascinating as you start thinking about it, that it's been that much up for that long. It's just been 7 months of straight bull. And as we look here, we also had that back at the start of 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of straight bull, then 3 months of down before some pretty juicy gains again over the middle. And it makes you realize also that the actual gains per month are not really representative of how many gains you can make. And for the most part, I'd say that that's because the majority of the gains lie in altcoins or making a lot of money off of smaller moves with Bitcoin with derivatives, for example. But hey, it's just my thoughts. Anyway, guys, that was it for this little crypto update. Most important is the bank going down, making people realize, hey, this crypto stuff really ain't that stupid. If we take a look back at 2017, you can see that gains don't last forever. There are some negative days in the midst, but generally speaking, one down month isn't representative of what's going to happen right afterwards. So even if we see some red here, it could be just 4 months of crazy green after. You really don't know. Yeah, that's about it.